Okay, so on this one they want you to complete the square, and so what you're going to start with is moving this term to this side. Okay, so to complete the square you take this term, divide by 2, and square it. So over here you're going to put x plus 3/2 squared, and then this is going to be equal to 2 plus 3/2 squared, which is really saying x plus 3/2 squared equal 2 plus 9/4 or something like that. 2 plus 3/2 squared 17/4. And then what you do is take the square root of both sides. So that'd be plus or minus the square root of 17 over the square root of 4, which is 2. And then you have to move this over, and so you get x equal -3 plus or minus the square root of 17 over 2. So that's your answer. It's the same as what's here with the comma. -3 minus square root of 17 over 2, -3 plus square root of 17 over 2. Okay. On your next one, this is one where you're going to want to use your calculator and use your table set and change independent to ask. Okay, so log base 2 x and then -5. So pay attention to how I typed it. We have log base 2 of x and then the -5, because that means down 5. Okay, then we go to our table, and notice 0.25 doesn't show up in here, so we have to go to our table settings and then change independent to ask, and then we put 0.25 and then we put 8. So -7 and -2 are your answers. And the graph that goes along with that is because it was that one. So again, open your table, change your table setup, change independent to ask. Okay, on this one, it says write the function in Vertex form and identify the different attributes. So the first thing I would say is to graph it and find the max or min. So x squared plus 4x minus 8. It's right there. Do minimum, and so then trap it between here and here, and then we get -2, -12. So then based on that, our formula would be x plus 2 squared minus 12. Now what we need to do is see that a is 1, and so you don't really have to put the 1 there. So this would just be x plus 2 squared minus 12. That's your answer. Okay, and then the axis of symmetry would be the opposite number of this, which is -2. because if you look at the table, you'd see it, and if you look at the graph, it would go right down there. In your table, I see the symmetry around the negative 11s and around the negative 8s. And so negative 12 is right there. And so negative 2 would be your axis of symmetry. It does want it in an equation, so make sure you do x equal. Since this is a parabola that opens up, it's x equal. X equal since parabola opens up. And that actually ties into this. Does it open up or down? Since A is positive, it opens up. And then it says identify the minimum or maximum, and it has a minimum at negative 12. And then your range would be from negative 12 to infinity, because it's like y greater than or equal to negative 12. Okay, for our next one, it says solve using a table. Well, I think of 40 as 8 times 5. So that actually works out easy. So it's x minus 5, x minus 8. So that means your answers are 5 and 8. Since they want you to use a table, if you want to, you can go into here. X squared minus 13x plus 40. Go into your table and see where y is 0, like at 5, 0. And at 8, 0. So those are your two places. Okay. For this one, they want you to do synthetic division like we did earlier. And so what we're going to do on this one is we start with it's x plus 6. We put negative 6 and do our backwards L. And then we put our coefficients. Now, I think on these, there's no skip terms. Like, what I mean by that is it's not blank for x squared, where you have to put a 0x squared. So because of that, we just put our coefficients. So we get 1, 10, 19, negative 30. And then just do it. So bring down our 1. Negative 6 times 1 is negative 6. 10 minus 6 is 4. So you put it there. Negative 6 times 4 is negative 24. And then 19 minus 24 is negative 5. And negative 6 times negative 5 is positive 30. And this one gives you 0. So that's your remainder. Which is what I said before, like if it works out, that means x minus 6 is a factor. Which means 6 is a solution, or x-intercept. So it wants you to put the other part, which was right here. Well, we start with x squared plus 4x minus 5. That one could be factored, and how I got that is the 1 is in front, the 4 is there, and the 5 is here. They want you to factor it completely, and so this is easy to factor. You put your x and x, put your 5 and 1, since it's times to get negative 5. And if it's a plus 4x, we need a plus 5 here and a minus 1 there. And so then we get x plus 5, x minus 1. Or the other way, x minus 1, x plus 5. Okay, now for this one, we do our quadratic regression. I thought we had one like this already. X, Y, 1, 2, 4, 9, 4, negative 30. So menu 4, 1, quadratic regression is 6, so this is menu 4, 1, 6. And put x here, y here. So this would be negative 4x squared plus 7x plus 6. I'm just using my a, b, and c values. And on this one, your r squared value is 1, which means it worked. And if it's e to a negative number, just treat it like 0. So this is your answer. They already have the y equal. Okay, on the next one, what we do is we have a base of 3, and so we put our 3 here. We raise it to the negative 3 power, and then equal to 1/27. And that's it. That's all you do. This number goes right there. And then this one becomes the exponent. And this is by itself. Okay. On this one, they want you to find the parabola with a vertex at the origin. So that means you don't have any different h or k. It's just 0, 0. And then the given directrix. So what we want to do is go to the graph, use your choices. Now for this, what we want to do is go to graph entry, to equation templates for a parabola. Okay, so this was to your graph, to your graph entry, to equation templates, to parabola. Okay, let me go through that again. Okay, so graph, to get to graph entry, you do menu 3. And then there's equation templates, which is 3. And then parabola is 2. And then for this first one, I want to check for x equal 1/4 y squared. So it has the x, and I'm going to put 1/4 here, and I'm going to have a 0 and a 0. So this would be 1/4, 0, and 0. Now when I do that, I press enter, there it is. Remember, if it's x equal y squared, it opens right. And remember, we can go to our analyze. So if we go to analyze graph and to analyze conics, then you can find your directrix. So there's your analyze conics, number 8. and number 5 is directrix. Then it looks like it didn't do anything, but if you move your mouse pointer to your graph, it has it. I'm going to click it. Okay, so as I was saying, we found our directrix is x equal -1. What we wanted was -4. So we're on the right path. We know it's not going to be the y equal. Let's try 1/16. So if we go into here and put this as 1/16, then that worked. And it adjusted it to -4. So that's the technical way to do it, which would work every time. You can also just kind of like think about it. If x is -4, that's going to be here. And if it's here for opening, this is 4 units away. And so in your formula, you have your A equal 1 over 4C. And so that'd be 1 over 4 times 4, which is 1/16. So if you prefer doing it this way, you can, or if you want to go through all the calculator, you can too. So it does remind you to graph it. And later on, when you're in another class, these things under Analyze Conics are going to be very useful, like center, vertices, foci, which is plural of focus, axis of symmetry, directrix, and so forth. Asymptotes, lattice rectum, etc. Okay, the next one. Okay, so on this one, what you do is think of it as putting 100 in front. And so this would be 190%, and so you get 1.9, and it's growth. And that's it. If it said something like 200%, then you do 100 plus 200 is 300%, and then your answer is 3. So if it's a 2-digit number, it's going to be 1 point something. And if it's like this, like 200, 400, or whatever, it's always 1 bigger. Okay, so then for this one, it says without graphing, and so what we can do is b squared minus 4ac. So that'd be 2 squared minus 4 times 1 times 6. 4 minus 24 is -20, and so we get 0 x-intercepts. That's how you use the formula. If you'd rather graph it, you'd have x squared plus 2x plus 6, and that graph is up here. So if your graph, then it's going to be like that. And so there's no x-intercepts. Okay. And then for this one, it says continuously compounding, and so that should tell you E is the base. You put your 300 in front, E is your base, and then put 0.05, and then we put X. And that's your formula, which they want after X years. So then your domain would be X greater than or equal to 0, and your range would be Y greater than or equal to 300. So that's how your numbers are related. They're saying you don't lose money. Okay, so it's this number that goes right there. And then it wants to know how much money would be after 10 years. And so you do 300 e to the 0.05 times 10. 300 e to the 0.05 times 10. And so that gives you 494.616. Oops, 494.616. It wants it to the nearest dollar, and so that'd be $495. Okay. Then your last one, they want you to factor this, and so to get 12, just go through the process. You got 1 and 12, 2 and 6, or 3 and 4. Well, since we need a 7, then let's use the 3 and 4, because 3 plus 4 gives you 7. So this would be x plus 4, x plus 3. That's your answer. All right, so that's the end of the review. Hope that helps.